All right, y'all, this is the question and answer video, and let's just jump right into it. Before we get started, there's something that I need to say here, and I can't believe that I actually have to say this to grown adults, but apparently I do, so here it is. Ever since this happened, we've gotten a lot of messages, a lot of feedback, so on and so forth, and 99% of that has been great, really great. But a little bit of it has been from a bunch of damn idiots. So I'll say this plain. If your intention is to come down there and stand up for your rights and do the right thing and behave yourself, then we need you. Please show up, and I thank you for coming. If your intention is to come down there and see how much of your ass you can show, see how many laws you can break and get away with it, see what kind of trouble you can stir up, then you better keep your ass away from our event. That sheriff will be the least of your worries. I am sick and tired of idiots trying to hijack other people's events for their own stupidity. So here's the bottom line. We're going down there to stand up for our rights. We're going down there to stand up for what is right. We are not going down there to try and pick a fight with the cops. We're not going down there to see how much hell we can raise. We're not riding into that town like Pancho Villa and his band to see if we can shoot the damn town up. That is not why we're going, and if that's your intention, don't go. And I mean that. And it's just amazing to me that I have to actually point this out, but I guess I do. To all the people who have the best intentions, and thank you. And please don't take this as me coming after you, because I'm not. I'm talking to the idiots. I'm talking to the people that want to go down there and just see what kind of shit they can stir up. If you want to go down there and attack the cops, keep your ass away from our event. It's a very simple concept here. Gabrielle Ellison owns the property, and Open Carry Texas is putting on the event. And what that means is that the reputation of Gabrielle Ellison and Open Carry Texas is on the line here. And if you think that I'm going to stand there and let some jackass take all the years of hard work that not just me, but C.J. Grisham, Rick Briscoe, and hundreds of other people have put in to build this organization up, if you think I'm going to let some jackass just come in and screw that up, you have lost your mind. Hang on, phone's ringing. I'll call him back. It ain't going to happen. And it's very simple. Use good judgment. Use good sense. And if you don't, first you're going to be asked to leave. And then you're going to be told to leave. And if that doesn't work, you're going to be made to leave. So for all of the fools that thought they'd come down there and act like one, don't. Okay, now that I've gotten that off my chest, I want to recognize a couple of other organizations that are really helping us out with this. Texas Guard Militia and This Is Texas. Brandon from This Is Texas, he and I have worked together on several, this is probably going to be the 5th, 6th, or 7th event that we've worked together on. They're a top-notch organization. He backs us up all the time. He's the man that put together the defense of the Alamo. I don't know if, I'm sure a lot of y'all saw it. That was Brandon's operation, and we backed him up. And they're a good bunch of guys. We've never worked with Texas Guard Militia before, but so far they seem like a good bunch of guys too. And I want to say that I want to recognize those folks, because everybody has really pitched in. And I want everyone to know just how much I appreciate it. Okay, let's get into a few details here. What did you mean about us not allow ourselves to be unlawfully arrested? Well, I meant exactly that. But that requires something, folks. I didn't, if you listen to what I said, I never said we're going to go down there and do whatever we want and not let the cops touch us. That's not what I said. I said, if we actually break the law, we're going to peacefully surrender. But since we're not going to break the law, and we're the good guys so we know what the law is, we won't have to worry about that. And then, if we're not breaking the law, we're not going to allow ourselves to be unlawfully arrested. Well, all of that requires that we obey the law in the first place, which goes right back to what I said a minute ago about not trying to come down there and see how much of an ass you can be or how many laws you can break and get away with it. It's not happening. So here's what this all comes down to. We have this thing called the law, and we have these other things called rights. And everybody has to follow the law, and everybody has to respect our rights. But exercising those rights, that requires you to behave like a decent person. You can't just, you can take your gun and strap it on your back and walk down the road. You cannot take your gun and wave it at everybody while you're walking down the road. And I know I'm harping on this a little bit, but you would not believe some of the stupidity that has come my way. And so I want to make sure everybody's clear on this. Those 6 men that were arrested to begin with were not breaking the law. And that means they never should have been arrested in the first place. If we're not breaking the law, and we'll know it, because I'm going to have every relevant law printed out, and I'm going to have them there with us. And look, this is what we do. We do gun laws. I'll know whether or not we're breaking the law. And then there's some other things, such as disorderly conduct, interfering with the duties of a peace officer. Look, if no law has been broken, then a peace officer has no duty. And that's the bottom line. So we'll tend to all of that. But the bottom line is, in order for us to say, if we're not breaking the law, you're not going to arrest us, we have to actually not be breaking the law. So keep that in mind. We go down there, we're going to follow the law, we're going to do this right. We're the good guys. We're the good guys. We're going to act like it. And by the way, before I forget it, because I'm tired as hell, I need everybody to be on the lookout for foolishness, for jackass behavior, for someone who's down there to see how many laws they can break and get away with it. Everybody keep your eyes peeled for that kind of stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if we get an infiltrator or two who's sent down there specifically to do exactly that. Just help me keep an eye out for that kind of stuff. And I mean everybody. I've got a select group of guys that are going to be looking specifically for that. But everybody. I mean, this is your event too. So help me to keep control of this situation. Okay, specific questions about some of the logistics, things like parking. We have some parking lined up, but I don't want to say exactly what that is on this video. And the reason I don't want to say is because just in case, first off, let me back up a little bit. All the intel that we have coming out of Odessa, and we've got a lot of it, says that this event should go off without a hitch. We've gotten some word that we're not going to have a problem out of the sheriff. He doesn't like what we're doing. He doesn't agree with what we're doing, but he's not going to try to do to us what he did to those other boys, which is a good thing. Having said that, if they know our plans in advance, there are some ways that they could throw monkey wrenches into it. And so I'm not going to broadcast our plans in the clear. We do have the parking situation handled. We have some arrangements that have been made, and I will make that clear what those arrangements are on the Open Carry Texas page, the This is Texas page, the Texas Guard Militia page, and other places. The word will get spread around, probably around noon on Saturday. And also, if you haven't gotten the word, just come to the bar and we'll show you where to park. We've got everything lined out. So just rest assured we've got it covered, but they could try and screw it up. Not saying they would. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't, but they could. So there's a whole lot about the event that I'm not going to reveal until we're actually there, and that's one of those things. Another one is the plan for the protest. There's some specific details that I don't want to broadcast in the clear because the sheriff watches YouTube too. The skeleton of it is we're going to rally there at the bar. We're going to have an event there. We're probably going to go for a short open carry walk down West University Boulevard. In fact, I'm sure we'll do that. And then probably another thing or two, but I'm not going to reveal what that is until that day. Rest assured, on Saturday, before we get started, I'm going to lay the plan out for everybody so everyone understands it. And I'm sorry that I have to be cryptic about it, but, well, it's exactly what I said. The sheriff watches YouTube as well, and if you think he's not going to be on the lookout for information on what we're doing and how we're doing it, well, you got to be crazy. Wouldn't you? I sure would. So, we do have a plan. We've got all the bases covered. We've got everything lined out. The only thing that I would recommend, I'm going to have some bottled water there. but I have no idea how many people are going to show up. Who keeps sending me messages? Stop that. I have no idea how many people are going to show up, so I don't know how many bottles of water to get, so I may not have enough. And what that means is I recommend that everybody bring 1 bottle of water, at least 1 bottle of water, just to make sure that you have something to drink. You know, we're going to be at a bar. I haven't asked her, but I'm sure Gabby's got ice machines. So, you know, nobody's going to die of thirst, but just to be safe, I would recommend that you bring 1 bottle of water, at least, with you. And then I'll have some extras. Do we have a plan in case the police roll in on us like they rolled in on those 6 boys? Yes, we have a plan for that. And that's all I'm going to say about it until Saturday. If you want to know what that plan is, be there Saturday and I'll give you a mission brief. I will tell you this, we don't expect that. And there's reasons why we don't expect it, and I'll explain some more of that on Saturday at the rally. This should go off without a hitch, no problems. I believe that it will, and I'll explain why. But a lot of people have asked, what are we going to do if they do it again? We're going to do something completely lawful. Everything is on the up and up because we're the good guys. We don't break the law. We follow the law. And I'll explain all of that to you at the rally. Again, I'm sorry that I have to be under the table about it, but it's kind of stupid to broadcast your plans out in the open. It lets the other side know what they need to do to screw you up. So, yes, we have a plan for that, and it's a good one. Myself and some other people have spent a whole lot of time trying to, basically putting ourselves in the sheriff's shoes and saying, okay, if I really wanted to be crooked and I really wanted to mess these boys up, what would I do? And we've listed all of those things, and then we've come up with a counter strategy for it. Again, I don't think this is going to be necessary, but just in case, we're hoping for the best, but we have planned for the worst. So, weapons. This is Open Carry Texas. We're all about the open carry of guns. Having said that, we're all about the legal open carry of guns. And what that means is, I had a couple of guys send me messages about some weapons that, to be honest with you, I'd never heard of. Didn't know a thing about them. Whatever you're going to carry, make sure that it is obviously legal. Don't come down there with something that looks like, don't come down there with a minigun, some kind of single shot, you know, semi-automatic minigun. Whatever you're going to bring down there, make sure that it is obviously legal. Because if you bring something that reasonably could be construed to be a machine gun, well then guess what? You've just given the sheriff the excuse that he needs to come over and mess with you. And if you actually break a law, if you actually do something stupid, I'm not going to back you up. You need to know that going in. If you're following the law, you damn right I'll back you up, and everybody that knows me knows I mean it. But if you're coming down there, okay, we've already covered that. Whatever you're going to carry, make sure that it is obviously legal. Now, something specific you need to know, it's perfectly fine to carry a pistol variant of a rifle, AR pistols, AK pistols. But understand, those are handguns, and that means you have to follow all the handgun laws. Specifically, number one, you have to have an LTC, a license to carry, and number two, it has to be in a belt or shoulder holster. And that means that an AR pistol hung from a single point sling right in front of you is against the law. Don't do it. Please don't put me in a position of having to tell you to put your gun up or leave. I really don't want to have to say that to someone who shows up down there. So, come up, if you want to carry an AR pistol, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't own one, but I've fired one. They're actually kind of cool. But you have to carry it right. It's a handgun. It's not a short-barreled rifle. It's not a long gun. It's a handgun, and all the handgun laws apply. So be the good guy that you are and follow the law. If you have any questions, please feel free to come up and ask. And not just me, Rick Briscoe, Brandon, the guys from Texas Guard Militia, Zane Freilich will be there. There's plenty of people that know the law. Colt, David Nunez, I mean, the list goes on. There's all kinds of people that know the law, and if you're iffy on it, you're welcome to come up and ask one of us about it, and be happy to answer your questions. But just make sure that whatever you're going to do, whatever you're going to carry, is within the law. And just so almost everybody knows this, but just in case you don't, a black powder pistol, which is a replica of something from a long time ago, it's a cap and ball revolver, those are perfectly legal to carry without a license. So if you have one of those and you want to carry it, you don't need a license for that. Counter protesters. I have no idea. I keep hearing all these rumors. Maybe they'll show up, maybe they won't. I talked to a lieutenant with the Texas Rangers who said that there's a possibility some local folks might decide to take exception with what we're doing and come out and raise a little hell with us. If we get counter protesters, don't try to pick a fight. Now, that doesn't mean you have to take crap off of people. It just means exactly that. Don't try and pick a fight. Act right. Behave yourself. If you're having a disagreement with someone, fine, disagree with them. If they attack you and you're defending yourself, that's something else entirely. But we'll discuss all of that more there at the rally. But the bottom line is, I don't know. We may get some counter protesters. We may not. I've heard that Antifa is showing up. And I've heard that Black Lives Matter is going to have not necessarily a counter protest to us, but a protest of their own in Odessa that day. And you never know. You just never know. I'm telling you, I've done too many of these events and rallies and marches and protests and such. You just never can tell. But be aware that it's a possibility, and if it happens, just handle it right. You know what to do. Okay, let's talk about cops for a second. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. My opinion is that not all cops are bad. I know cops that stand around and watch another cop do something, yes, I have a big problem with that. But the bottom line is, I have received phone calls over the past couple of weeks from law enforcement officers in and around that part of the country. A few of them very specifically. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But the bottom line is, there are a lot of officers out there that are actually on our side. And two things. Number one, I want you to know that. And number two, for all of those good cops out there, I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. And just keep doing what you're doing, because if you're a good cop, that means you're doing it right. Open Carry Texas is not against cops. We're against bad cops. And there's a difference. It's that simple. I don't know what else to say about it. It's not a complicated issue. A law enforcement officer that enforces the law and stays within the limits set up by the Constitution is doing it right. I'm not going to condemn him just because he decided to be a policeman for a living. And by the way, just so you know, I come from a family full of cops. Full. Well, I'm not going to name them. I've done that before. 8 or 10 men. A few are still active duty. Most of them have retired, but a few are still out there. So I know what a good cop looks like. That's why I get so angry when I see a bad cop. It just pisses all over the reputation of the ones who are out there doing it right. So for the good ones, thank you very much. For the bad ones, we're going to get your ass. Through the courts, legally. That's not a threat of physical violence, unless you jump on me. We'll get to that later. Flags, signs, etc. Absolutely. Bring them. Bring your flags, bring your signs if you want to. You don't have to. That's not a requirement. But I had some people ask, is that allowed? Yes, absolutely it's allowed. It's encouraged. Please do. Alcohol. I cannot believe I have to talk about this one too. So we actually had some guy send us a message saying he was going to put together, he's going to bring a big ice chest full of Budweiser. Number one, it's against the law to bring outside alcohol onto the premises of a place like Big Daddy Zane's. Period. You cannot bring your own beer in your truck and sit there and drink it. That is against the law. It can also get Gabby in a lot of trouble. Secondly, I'm sorry. If you're going to drink beer and carry a gun, you're not going to do that shit around me. I don't know what else to say. Booze and guns just don't mix. If you want to do that, then go home and do it. Go somewhere else and do it. But at every Open Carry Texas event, if you're drinking, don't carry a gun. And if you're carrying a gun, don't drink. Now, once the rally's over with, you want to go back to the bar and party it up, go right ahead. Who knows, I may go back there and have a beer. But not while I'm carrying my gun. For those of you who aren't familiar with that basic rule of gun safety, well, there it is. Don't carry a gun when you're drinking. Don't drink when you're carrying a gun. Guys, I don't know if I've left anything out. I probably have. And if I have, I'll deal with it when the time comes. I really want to reiterate, for the folks, the 99.9% that are coming out there with good intentions to do this rally right, thank you. We need it. If we don't stick together, our rights are just they're gonna go away. For the 0.01% that wanted to come out there and act a fool, straighten your ass up or keep your ass away from me. And there it is. Okay. If I've forgotten anything, we'll address it later. There's the basic info you need, and hope to see you Saturday.